tone of the Quran, that Allah, He challenges mankind. He asks, bring mankind all together, come together, cooperate, the jinn and the mankind, come and produce something like it. Even just the shortest chapter, if you can produce anything like that. And that tone that is quite, it's not in the nature of the human being to challenge, of that to that degree. And certainly, if somebody did an exam for a teacher and he knew all the answers, and then at the very end he said to the teacher in a note, try to find a mistake, you're not going to find one. The teacher would spend all night trying to find just that one small mistake.
Would.
And he would definitely find it, no doubt. So that's not even the nature of the human being to do that.
It has a very different style, it's true. Yeah. Some of the brothers who've converted to Islam said, when even reading translation, they feel that this is a very different book, that it's like talking to them personally. And we have in Birmingham, England, a former Jew who became a Muslim, and he said this section of ayahs in Surah Al-Baqarah, in the 2nd chapter, that deals with the Bani Israel, said when he showed it to other Jews, they feel like there's a mirror held to their face, it shows up all their lies and their subterfuges and their the way they speak about religion,
I think even the issue of another fascinating issue is the issue of embryology, the study of the fetus.
Certainly,
and that is one fascinating.
Yet
another one. And it's a huge one. It's a major one. I'm surprised actually.
Surah Al-Mu'minun, isn't it?
It's in Mu'minun and Hajj right there, the very beginning of Hajj. Al-Mu'minun, of course, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ إِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّنَ الْبَعْثِ فَإِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ. So the 7 stages of the human creation is mentioned in that particular ayah. If you have doubt and the hereafter, then think about your creation, that I have created you from min alaqatin thumma min nutfatin. It's a leech-like clot, and it's a drop, and then it's going on. It's like a chewed meat, then going on into meat, and bones, and then bones cover in the meat. And then finally, the soul is coming, and then delivery is taking place. So all these 7 stages are mentioned in that ayah, and then after that, فَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُتَوَفَّى مِنْ قَبْلُ وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرَدُّ إِلَىٰ أَرْذَلِ الْعُمْرِ. Some of you die ahead of time, it means die when they're young, and some other they go all the way back, when they return back to their weakness.
Yes, having known much, now they know nothing.
Yeah, they knew nothing.
They become senile.
Yeah, so Quran talk about that. وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. The human was created very weak, so we're weak and then we become strong, so after the strength, we come back to weakness. So that's, another miracle of the Quran that you brought it up. Something connected to that is, for example, the mother's milk, The mother milk Quran is always talking about that, mother has to breastfeed the child for 2 years. And the doctors, of course, they do agree with us that the best food for the child, the best feeding system for the child is to be mother milk. Also the ear system, for example, or the hearing system, again, something to do with the human body, isn't it? Quran called the sleep itself death. وَهُوَ الَّذِي يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ. Quran said, وَهُوَ الَّذِي يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ, that He is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who is bringing you death during the night or during sleep. So since we're sleeping, we're kind of dead body, but still our ears are actively working during the sleep. So there's another scientific miracles in the Quran which is talking about that. Yes, this book is an extraordinary book.
Yeah, certainly. Just on the point, it's an excellent point. Just the point about the embryology. Actually, years back, when obviously if you're in doubt about something and you want to confirm it, you ask those people who know. And certainly you go to the scientists. Is it what we're saying? Are we making it up? Are we making something out of nothing? And certainly these the Saudi scholars, they invited some scientists, many of which are well known, such as Michael Moore. He came, and he was given a translation of the Quran. He was given, all the verses regarding embryology were extracted for him, and he was able to look through them and analyze it. And he came to a conclusion that this description, this leech-like cloth, was a perfect description of the beginning of the fetus. Now, certainly when he was addressed with that, how do you think a man in the 7th century could come up with something like that? a lot of people were skeptical. They said, well, maybe these Arabs were savage individuals. They dissected some dead bodies and they came. He says, even if they did that, they still would not be able to see with the naked eye. It requires a microscope. Yes,
in fact, these things have only come to light after the invention of the electronic microscope.
Yeah, so that was kind of, it was brushed off and laughed upon. And then certainly what happened is that he had his own book. He actually revised his book and he changed and inserted some pictures which he had discovered and included those specific
with Quranic
eyes as well.
But you try and buy that book now, I think
it's scarce,
very difficult.
scarce,
yes. Yeah. Our friends in the publishing business, Oive, have made sure that it's not available.
So you know, we can see that this certainly the opinion of a non-Muslim scientist carries huge weight. You know, we're not here, just to come up with fanciful ideas. We're actually coming with something which has some weight.
Yeah,
and when it comes from a non-Muslim, someone who's an expert in his field, and he confirms that no, this is not the work of a man, this has to be divinely revealed, then you can only come to one conclusion. Certainly if somebody came to you and said to you, Abu Khalid, that I know your son, and you never met him before, you would be skeptical. You're like, who are you? He says, well, I met your son in such and such a place. He worked here. He's from here. He has a certain amount of sons. Gradually, as the information comes, you start to believe that this man's actually telling the truth. Mm-hmm. So in the same way, when you bring these signs and you bring these kind of conclusions, you can only come to one conclusion. That's really that this book comes from the Creator. And there's no other book, well, I have not heard of any book that claims to be the literal word of God. I don't think even Christians would claim that the Bible is the literal word of God. They may claim that it's the inspired word of God, but the actual words from the Creator, there's only one book that claims that, and that's quite a claim. And I'm fascinated to see how people who, not that I have a problem with people reading fictional books and things like that, but there's only one book, there's only one book on the earth that claims to be the word of God. Certainly that claim is quite a claim, and it deserves a lot of attention.
It certainly does, yes. It's not that we say, oh, here's a book from the Creator of the universe, and just put it back on the shelf.
Exactly, yeah. So I think people need to realise is that the significance of what we're talking about.
Certainly.
And that when these signs do come, a person has a choice to believe or disbelieve, but at the end of the day, it will come back to that person. And we hope that reasonable people, I think most people nowadays are reasonable people, that they can come to one conclusion. And that hostility and that stubbornness sometimes that we find in people, that you can only come to one conclusion. There's no need to, if you like, to dwell on certain things. Some things are truth, is the truth, accepted as fact.
But there's so much brainwashing of people. For example, the other day in the Heritage Village, I was showing a French family, 7 people in this French family, this Scientific Miracles of the Quran, the posters. And as they were going out, the old man said, "C'est pas la culture, c'est religion." It's not culture, it's religion. It means we just discard it. It's religion. They're kind of brainwashed.
Yeah, there's a hostility there, and preconceived notions hinder.
Yeah, preconceived notions
hinder a person's understanding of the Quran. If someone picks the Quran up with a preconceived notion that it's